Hello everyone, this video is about the full moon in Gemini. Welcome to the Oracle of the Central Sun. I am Michelle, and this full moon in Gemini will happen for you either on the 4th or the 5th of December, depending on your time zone. So where I'm at in Cape Town, it'll happen on the 5th of December at 1 a.m. and 13 minutes in the early hours of the morning. So we have a full moon. It is falling at 13 degrees and 3 minutes of Gemini. You can check exactly where this falls for you in your personal chart. And as things Gemini, it is ruled by the planet Mercury. So we've just been through a Mercury retrograde. Only on the 29th of November, so very recently, Mercury stationed and started moving forward again. So we are still in the process with what has been happening with Mercury in its retrograde. So Gemini is known for being that sign of fast moving things, where there can be a lot happening, where it's sometimes difficult to make choices, and sometimes it is necessary not to make a choice. Sometimes it is necessary to be working with multiple things all at once. So this might be one of those full moons that there is a lot going on. We're dealing with multiple things. We're dealing with things in various parts of our lives all at the same time, and this could all be influenced by this Mercury retrograde motion at this time. So Mercury started moving direct on the 29th of November, and at the time of this full moon, it is still sitting at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So it's stationed to go direct again at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So it is still moving quite slowly at the time of this full moon. So whatever we've been working on during this Mercury retrograde time can still be in a state of flux and finding new balance and finding new ways forward after we have now revised and worked with certain things in that part of our charts. So just a quick update again regarding the Mercury retrograde. So it started on the 10th of November at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, and then it retrograded back into Scorpio again on the 19th of November. Then on the 29th of November, it turned direct at 20 degrees of Scorpio, and it is actually only leaving the shadow period properly on the 16th of December. So there's something about this Mercury retrograde time that may only be fully resolved, or you may only have full clarity round about that time of the 16th of December. So keep that in mind with this full moon that is ruled by the planet Mercury. So there is something happening at the time of this full moon also with Venus and Mars. So Venus and Mars are both sitting in Sagittarius with the sun opposite the moon. So there are things here related to our relationships, how we take action. It might even with Mars be about dealing with certain conflict situations in our lives. And this is all playing out because Venus, the sun, and Mars are all reflecting onto this full moon at 13 degrees of Gemini. So I got very good feedback about my last video, that people really enjoyed how I did that. So I decided to do that again for this full moon. So I drew some cards for each of the aspects to give us more clarity what we are dealing with around these aspects. So for the full moon itself, I received the Five of Pentacles. Now the Five of Pentacles is not always an easy card. You can see these people look a bit forlorn and injured, and they are walking outside the building in the snow. And this is often a card that shows up where we maybe feel a bit like we are not a part of what's going on. There's something that we feel very separate from, or we may even feel injured by something that happened recently in our lives. And this can be emotionally injured, physically injured, but because the pentacles are shining in the window in the background, this is a reminder for us of how important it is of where we are placing our focus. So if these two in the foreground just turn around and look at the window, they might find inspiration. They might even be walking back into the building and finding help and support instead of wandering around outside on their own and feeling like outsiders in certain areas of their lives. So this card is a reminder for us that at the time of this full moon, really see how you can look around, how you can change your perspective, how you can maybe find a different answer for something that might make you feel a little bit unwanted, forlorn, injured, at this time, and see how we can turn that around. And then the other big part of this full moon is also to do with the ruler Mercury. And Mercury is in that grand water trine with Jupiter in Cancer and with Saturn in Pisces at the moment. So this is a beautiful flowing aspect. It's a very strong trine that's happening in water signs. We are dealing with our emotions here. We with Mercury being in Scorpio, in that energy of Scorpio, there are also always new things coming to light that maybe we did not see before, that we are now ready to see and work with going forward. And with Mercury having the support of that Jupiter in Cancer, dealing with our connections, how we deal with family, challenging things that we may need to revise our belief systems around. And Saturn is there for us in order to find new boundaries, in order to find new long-term goals. Saturn is about the long term, the long vision, and really seeing also with Saturn is related to the no, so what we are ready to let go at this time as well. And for this aspect, the water grand trine between Mercury, Jupiter and Saturn, I received the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups is often called a card of nostalgia. But for me, the Six of Cups is very playful. It's a playful energy. It's very innocent and childlike. And for me, this card shows up with this grand water trine in order for us to try and find our innocence again. I know for me, I've been through a lot lately. I'm going through some very hard Pluto aspects in my personal chart, so that can bring a lot to the surface to deal with. And this card for me is bringing back that playfulness, or asking us to bring back that playfulness, to really find our innocence again, and not being naive, but being innocent and seeing that good things can still come our way. This one person in the cup, in the card, is gifting another one the cup, and the cup is to do with our emotions. It's to do with emotional abundance. And so this card is really asking us to find a beautiful innocence again, to stay open to what might come our way, what we may be gifted, and just to be innocent to see, even though we may have been through hard times, what is ready to come our way and what we are ready to receive at this time. And then the next part of this full moon is a strong aspect between Mars and Chiron. Mars is sitting at 22 degrees of Sagittarius, and Chiron retrograde is sitting at 22 degrees of Aries. Now, Mars is often about taking action, and it can often be around conflicts as well. And this is a trine aspect. So there's a flow here, there's a healing that can occur if we are open to this healing process between Chiron and Mars. In terms of conflicts, in terms of Mars is also related to our wounds, as Chiron is. So there's a time at this full moon to maybe really be ready to let go of some old wounds and things. Do some inner work, see what needs to be released in order for us to move forward at this full moon. So the card I received for Mars trine Chiron is the Ace of Wands, and this is a beautiful card of new beginnings. So yes, see what we can let go. The Ace of Wands is all about feeling inspired. It's the hand of the universe handing over that wand. It is about new beginnings and new potential. There's a potential here in this wand with all of those little leaves that's ready to bloom. And this might be around what we are healing with Mars trine Chiron at the moment. Also what we are ready to let go and then step into new things. So this Ace of Wands is such a beautiful card showing up at this full moon. So really take your time to see what potentials are showing up, where you're feeling inspired, where you are ready to take your power back and really, really move into this energy at the time of this full moon. And then there's another part that we are working with at the same time, where Mars is also square to Saturn. Now, Mars square Saturn is a little bit more of a challenging aspect because Mars is fast moving and action orientated, and Saturn always tends to say, hey, wait, slow down, really see what is happening here before you rush forward. So it's a little bit of like a trying to go, but then breaking again, stopping, revising, that kind of energy. But I always see these energies as absolutely perfect for what we're dealing with at this time. So there's maybe just something here with Saturn squaring Mars that's asking us to slow down and review before we rush forward. And Saturn bringing that energy to Mars of like a little bit of a slowdown. And the card that I received for this is very appropriate. I received the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the tarot that's actually moving very slowly. In all the other knights cards, the horses are usually running. So this card is about slowing down. The Knight of Pentacles can be about hard work, and as with Saturn and Mars, it can also be about long-term goals. So as you can see in this card, this knight is sitting on the horse and he's got his pentacle and is actually focusing on the pentacle. So for me, this card is pointing to, you know, over the last few months of 2025, we've really been dealing with a lot of retrograde planets and a lot of revision and rethinking and timelines totally shifting and moving in different directions. And this card here is asking for us to work with that Saturn and Mars to, yes, be with your goals, see what actions you can take to move forward, but also, you know, like this knight, even if the movement is slow, keep your eyes focused on that pentacle, keep your eyes focused on the goal, and you will get there. So loving that card for that aspect in the chart as well. And then the last aspect I want to talk about that is a very strong aspect at the time of this full moon. It is now both Neptune still retrograde at 29 of Pisces, sextiling Uranus at 28, almost 29 degrees of Taurus. So Uranus has recently retrograded back into Taurus and now started forming aspects with Neptune at the end of Pisces. And this can be, a sextile is a very flowing aspect again. And this to me really is about awakenings. There was something here these last few months, and also with Uranus, the beginning first quarter of 2026, where we are finding new awakenings with things that we've been dealing with in terms of the Taurus part of our chart. The last things that we are now dealing, revising, finding new awakening moments around, until in April 2026, Uranus is going to be permanently in Gemini for the next 7 years. So there's something here between Neptune and Uranus that's being revised. It can really be awakening moments, cosmic consciousness, things that were not clear before can become clear during this aspect. So really work with these energies around the time of this full moon. The card I received for this is the Three of Wands, which is also a beautiful card because even though these two planets are retrograde and moving very slowly at this time, Neptune is basically standing still because it is going to start moving forward in the middle of December. So, but there's something here for us with the Three of Wands that really is also pointing to new beginnings and expanded vision. The Three of Wands, you can see he's standing on high ground and he's looking out over an expanse of the ocean and even distant lands, and really looking at new possibilities, new things coming your way, ships coming in, and these new expansion can really show up for us at this time with Uranus and Neptune. There's something in this card where you can really develop a brand new vision. There can be a real foresight that shows up that may not have been visible until now, because with Saturn and Neptune, we are really dealing with things at the end of Pisces, of like at least a 29-30 year cycle that is coming to an end for us. So this card is beautiful in that it shows that there is we can prepare for new things to come. We are maybe in preparation. Be open to new vision and be open for new things arriving for you at the time of this full moon. And then lastly, the guidance from the I Ching, which I always love to give because it always has so much to add. From the Little Book of Changes by Peter Crisp. And the hexagram I received was hexagram number 6. And in this pocketbook, it is called Resolving Conflict. It says, when you find peace within yourself, you will find peace all around you. You, like the inner diplomat, observing the conflict, discovering hidden agendas, digging into the causes of the dangers and the difficulties. So there's something for us here about being diplomatic, about really observing our inner wounds around conflict and inner peace, and really working with these energies at this time. It says, take a deep breath, a big step back. And this could also be around that Mars-Saturn dynamic of actually like stopping before we move forward. Resolving inner conflicts enables you to find solutions for external problems. Sometimes doing nothing is better than doing the wrong thing. Once you make peace with yourself, you can make peace with anyone. I love this. It's certainly very apt for me at this time. I've been working so much inwardly lately. I would say I'm always doing my own inner work, but for this last month or two, every few days or so, I'm dealing with new things. I'm healing new things. So there's such a lot of transformation that can occur at this time. So in one sentence, it's basically find your inner peace, no matter what is happening around you, and then bring that inner peace to the people, the experiences on the outside, and see how that goes. So I wish you an absolutely beautiful full moon in Gemini. Take all the wisdom and the guidance from the tarot and the I Ching. Walk gently. These are times of great change. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to those around you. I'm sending you all so much love, and I am doing personal readings at this time. I am doing your personal forecast for 2026. Get in touch if you would like a reading, guidance, or if you would like a healing session, working with kinesiology and energy healing. I am so grateful that I could bring this to you, and I will see you again next time.